in Fresno. Well, I don't want to say this on the.
Oh.
I covered 2 games, and the only problem is the temperature at one of them was unbearable. So.
Too high, too low.
Too high, 100 and something degrees at kickoff, like at night. It's just hard, that heat. I don't know how these guys do it.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Draft Digest. The sickest NFL draft and scouting podcast. It's gonna be sick.
What's going on, sickos? As we get live here tonight, Wednesday night, week 1 review, week 2 coming up. What a week 1 we had. All of our giant matchups failed to disappoint. So we had a great week 1. But hey guys, so
Good.
Dom, Emily's here, Mike's here. How are we all doing tonight?
Very well, John. Very well. Week 1, like you said, was everything that I hoped it would be, to an extent. You know, I was a little disappointed at some performances. It's a little early, so on and so forth. But, I mean, good football games, a good schedule of football games from noon straight through until TCU played North Carolina. And I won't call that a good football game. So,
Refuse. Who did you make money this week?
Oh, yeah.
No, got cleaned out on my props. None of my parlays hit. Oh, no, actually, the TCU North Carolina parlay did hit. All the other ones, no, took back. I made the mistake of I did a lot of 4-leggers, and I didn't flex any of them, and I hit 3 on a ton of them, so should not have been greedy. That would have been better.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And Emily, obviously, I'm going to hand over the hosting duties to you, but you get to tell us, about your weekend and what you were doing. You started in the cold open, so.
I did, and I didn't want to go too deep into it, but we are definitely going to keep this show within the range tonight. I'm going to keep it on track or die trying. So I just want to let people know that are watching or listening, or however you're getting this, that if you do have some college football questions, either something from week 1 or something looking ahead to week 2, or you just want to ask John about edge rushers, whatever, please write your comment in whatever format you're using, and let us know. Get us your questions, because we are going to take some of those at the end of the show. So you can start sending them in now. That being said, I had 2 football games this week. I got to see San Jose State play Central Michigan, and I know you guys are so excited to talk about that, because Matt Drinkall Matt Drinkalling his way through the world, but super happy for them and his first win there at the program. For me, it was a really fun game to watch. There were 4 fullbacks on the field, I think, at one point. So God bless him for that. And then I also saw the Fresno State win over Georgia Southern, which weird, because here I am talking about EJ Warner, who I love and was excited to see in person, but he, didn't quite get it going. But the run game, the 3-headed monster that they have there at Fresno State, was really, really impressive. And it was good to see that program, running Matt Ence's his scheme, because it just, I like it. I know they've traditionally always passed and they've had good quarterbacks, but running looks good in Fresno, so I'll take it. But those were the games I was at. Those were some interesting stuff to me. I'm going to kick it off to you guys. I don't know what order we want to do this in, but I'm going to give you your buzzer to do what excited you the most about week 1, and a game or a couple players that really got you going.
Well, Dom, I think
I will kick it off.
Dom. I was about to say, Dom, you go ahead. I got I already kind of reacted to this.
Yeah, John said enough.
Yeah. So, listen, I think we all were, at the edge of our seats looking for the big quarterback. There was a lot of those matchups, down south in Clemson. You had Klubnik, you had Nuss playing together, you had Arch, carrying the torch over at the Horseshoe. A lot of quarterbacks were here and were playing. I'm going to kind of say, I think my favorite that I actually got to watch, not only the broadcast, but really got to break down. I was really, really impressed with John Mateer. he was better. He was better than I expected in the film. I mean, the broadcast is what it is. The level of talent competition is what it is. That's what you get. But some of the throws that he made, some of the some of the precision, the back shoulder, he hit his spots. I thought he showed a live arm. He showed a lot more kind of wherewithal to perform and do stuff off platform than, I remember in my film sessions of past. A lot of big time throws, wasn't afraid to go at it. And, the numbers were the numbers, 355 yards, 3 TDs, pushing the ball downfield. Very, very happy with what I saw from him. And outside of him, a couple other guys that I do want to mention.
Yeah.
Spencer Fano from Utah was everything as advertised. He was one of the guys that Utah team shouldn't be ranked 25. I think they should be a lot higher than that. That offensive line is a unit, and Spencer Fano is kind of driving the car of that thing. He was dominant. Absolutely loved seeing him. I loved watching that. Third guy I think that probably caught my eye, which I thought that actually the whole defense played good. Going to go down to Tulane. Jaheim Johnson, the cornerback out of Tulane. Their defense did a number on Northwestern.
Yeah.
And Jaheim Johnson was sticky, man. I think he let up like 4 receptions, 10 targets towards him, a few PBUs, an interception, got his nose in there in the tackle. I know he's a little slight of frame, but he plays aggressively. I think the kid, the defensive lineman, God, I can't remember his name. He transferred from Appalachian State. I think it's Hopper. He played well. He played really good as well. That Tulane defense, I mean, Summerall's got him going, in week 1. So really, really impressed with that. I mean, Mateer kind of was like, okay, you got something there. Fano was exactly what I expected. And then Jaheim Johnson was really kind of that chef's kiss, like somebody that I didn't really pay attention or didn't really have too much eyes that said, wow, this kid's a player. So I was really happy with that Tulane game overall. So enough out of me. I'll pass it off to someone else.
Pass the baton. Yeah.
Okay. For me, I always, first week we expect a lot of rust, and we saw that there was a lot of bad QB play this week. I kind of made, especially Thursday, Friday, it's like, some of these QBs were all right, but a lot of them really struggled. We expect that week 1 and early in the year. So kind of what I always look at, in the games I'm picking, whoever's going to play better in the trenches, especially on the D line, I'm probably going to lean that team. And my picks overall for the picking all the games, I was very average in week 1. Those mid-level games where I was, waffling, I picked wrong on a lot of them. But the 3 games I was really bullish on, I was happy they all hit. So, and for that reason, Auburn really dominated Baylor in the trenches. They looked really good, both sides of the line, especially running the ball. They did well. And on the D line, they did what they had to do. Florida State, I didn't think they'd win. I did pick them to cover, and their D line looked. Now, obviously, Alabama, the injury hurt them on the D line a lot. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Florida State looked good on offense. Gus had them doing a lot of good. They were running the ball, causing fits. You doing a lot of, the traditional Gus RPO running stuff that they did. And then the third one, this team didn't win by any chance, but they did cover us. UTSA. We expect them to lose at A&M. They're going to be pretty good in the American, though. That Traylor's a good coach. Henry's a good running back. McCollum
the running back's
another good QB.
Yeah.
Their UTSA is going to be a pretty solid team in that conference, I think.
John, that's a guy you like, right?
Yeah, Henry. Yeah. He was
on our ballot for the Doak, and I actually pushed. Yeah. I pushed for him. I always try and push for those guys, right? Because I think they're not going to always get as much exposure, and unfortunately, as the guy who won from Washington and other people. But I love that he made it on the ballot. That was good.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal game.
Mhm.
You know, I'll point to the other side of the ball in that particular game that for a guy that I really liked, and that was KC Concepcion. Really liked him in North Carolina State last year. He transfers in and he immediately was an impact player. Had the punt return for a touchdown. Had a really great run after the catch for a touchdown. Showed that electric athletic ability he has. He's going to be a slot guy probably at the next level, but you know, really great run after the catch guy. Justice Haynes Jr., man, in Michigan. What on earth was going on? I mean, it's not. I understand they were playing New Mexico, okay, but he hit that second level on that first touchdown run that he took back to the house. And I mean, you could see the 4.4 speed right there, and it might be even better than that. He's got absolute burners at his size. Great running back. And you know, I'll touch on the Utah game. You touched on the offensive line. Let me touch on the quarterback, Devin Dampier, just to kind of bring this full circle. To transfer from New Mexico, leaves New Mexico, goes to Utah. That guy was freaking phenomenal in that game, and you kind of got to see that. Because my question from him in New Mexico, I liked him a lot. Like he's got some tools. He's got the great arm. I don't know how athletic he actually is, but he ran all over UCLA. You saw the Kyler type wheels that he's got, and he's got the cannon for an arm. So I'm really excited to see what he does at Utah this year. I think that he's got a chance to play himself up in these quarterbacks just because, yeah, he's undersized, but he's bigger than Kyler. He's bigger than Bryce Young. He's probably right about Russ's height, and he can freaking throw the ball as well. So those are probably the guys that popped at me.
I love it. See, that was concise. That was good. Week 1 recap. I'm proud of it. I'm going to throw one in there that probably nobody cared about, but I will shout out Cal because they beat Oregon State in a game I did not think they would win. And their freshman quarterback was extremely fun to watch.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And points to anyone that can pronounce his name.
Nope.
Right.
Not gonna do that.
I've been practicing. So he has a long first name, but it's Jaron. And it's Sagapolutele. It's kind of like Tagovailoa. Yeah. The N is silent in it. So, but he was really fun to watch. And what a great coming together for that team. And you have to imagine that Ron Rivera has got some hand in that, like pulling this together, putting it where it needs to be. So pains me to say.
One other guy I want to give a shout out to, and I'm probably one of 5 people that watch this guy play, but Jay Ducker looked really good for Temple. They dominated UMass.
Yeah.
That was a good game. So Ducker played well.
That was actually the highest graded quarterback for the rankings that I do was the Temple quarterback.
Evan Simon was?
Yes,
really?
Evan Simon got the high. He was the only A minus, but grade given his touchdown to no interception ratio and then just other factors in his play. But who would have thought, right? The Drayton years are gone now, so definitely. we're into it with Temple.
Yeah, and Mateer will be there this week. I think they face in Oklahoma. So.
That's tough. That's tough.
Let's see if he's the best quarterback on the field.
Yeah, I mean,
when Oklahoma steps in.
Let him have his flowers. Let him have his flowers this week.
That's right.
It's
That's
fine.
right.
Okay. Well, unless there's another going once, going twice person we want to throw out for week 1.
Oh, I could throw 2 more out if you want.
You can have one. Have one.
I don't know his name yet.
Well, if you're not ready, then you're getting.
No, it's number 14 for Montana State.
Okay.
Wide receiver.
Okay.
So here's a tip that Mark Gorsak, longtime Steelers scout, taught me. When you're looking at so many guys, it's really hard to keep track of their names. Mm-hmm. And so until they really do something to make you remember it, you go by school and number. Okay. So Montana State, number 14, it's not personal. I just need to see one more performance. But he was the offense for them against Oregon. Consistently, even on the drives that stalled, he was consistently making catches. Great route runner, good strong hands, good after the catch, very intense football player. Made some spectacular catches, one-handed grab. I think they came back on a penalty. And then there was another one that he had that was pretty through pretty vicious contact.
We're saying his name because he has one of the elite names in college football.
Oh, say it.
All right, send it.
Taco Dowler.
No way.
Taco Dowler. Yeah.
I'll take some of that taco any Tuesday right
Yeah.
there.
Oh my
Like
God.
that guy
Oh,
absolutely was phenomenal.
5'9", $175.
wow.
Yeah, a little gritty slot guy, but
Yeah, I'm looking at him now and I'm like, what? Wow. Okay.
he was the offense for Montana State in that game.
Amazing.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know what his stat line was. I'm going to guess it was way up there because it felt like every time I was looking, he was making another catch.
His QB's a guy Emily will know well. Justin Lamson.
Oh,
Yeah. Well.
look at where he went. Good for him. Anywhere is better than here. Well, I like that. That was a good one, John. Good job.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Sometimes you pull ones and I'm like, I don't know who that is, but that's fun. That's
the idea.
It's good.
That's the idea.
I like it. Okay, so that's week 1. It was great. It was what it was. We're looking ahead now to week 2. We're finally going to get, a better idea of some of these teams, some of these players, because like, you mentioned, we're shaking off the rust. We're going to get into the groove of it. And John and I just spent, the last half hour of our other show doing our preview for that. So I'm going to just kick it off to you guys and just say, is there a game that you're super fired up for? Is there a game that is meh? Is there a game that you would pass on hard? Let's kind of cover the gamut here and see what you got. Same order?
Same order.
Good.
Man. Let's see.
I could throw one at you too because I have some questions.
You know what? I'm curious to see. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, can you go wrong with Iowa State? I mean, it's always a good matchup. I mean, Iowa's a little down this year. A lot down this year. So I don't know how competitive that's going to be. But when you look across the landscape, there's not many games that are
that you're super excited about.
Yeah, that I'm super excited about. Okay. A lot of the kind of cakewalk stuff that's going on here. I would say, I think I'd like to watch, and I will watch SMU Baylor. I want to see if SMU is real, and see, that again. That's always an interesting game. I want to get more of an understanding on how much of a push and how real this SMU team is, because I haven't watched them this year yet at all, not in broadcast or not much in in film breakdown either. So I'd like to get my hands around that one and say that's probably the one game that really interests me the most outside of the rivalry of Iowa State.
What about the border war that returns? Missouri, Kansas back in action?
For me, that's the game of the week for me. Yeah.
Yes. Tell me more. Why?
Just because they haven't played in so long. It's one of those dormant rivalries that was a really big game, and we just haven't seen it. But also, they're two teams that have looked very good so far, but we also still have a lot of questions, about them. Kansas rolled a Fresno team that looked better. That win looks a lot better after Fresno won a game. And Mizzou whipped up on Central Arkansas. Tribula looked very good in his start. But for Mizzou, we didn't answer any questions about Mizzou that we didn't know. So to me, there's still a lot of unknowns with both of these teams. And this is a meaningful game for both the fan bases there. It's in Missouri, and for me, it'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah. Talk about rivalries. Well, Dom, you're not even excited about Michigan, Oklahoma?
Michigan, Oklahoma. I forgot. You know what? I thought Oklahoma was at Temple. But that's next week. That's week 3. Next week. So I completely forgot Oklahoma, Michigan. That's going to be a great game. I mean, it's hard not to get worked up. At least they're 2 top 20 teams, and we're going to get to see, I'll see, you get to see material, you get to see a really good defense and, and see what they're made of. Are they playing at the Big House?
They're playing in Norman.
They're playing in Norman.
In Norman, and Oklahoma's favored by 5.5. So how do we feel about that?
Oof.
I like them to cover that.
Yeah.
But
Really?
any bigger, I would be apprehensive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's near my limit.
So you remember how when we used to do the Gridiron Eve, we had a challenge segment?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, no, this
awesome.
would be the stamp. This would be the challenge stamp coming down right now. Going, no, I challenge that. I'm going against that. I'm taking Michigan in this one.
I'm taking Michigan too, but I've also been not great.
So
So
Bryce Underwood played phenomenal last week.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I still can't believe how well he played. There were a few throws that he made that 18-year-olds do not normally know how to throw. They don't even know that it's a possibility. He was phenomenal. And Justice Haynes was amazing. And that defense is going to be really good again this year. I understand it was New Mexico, and they gave up 17 points. I understand how that looks, but the defense is loaded with talent again, especially in the trenches. And I think that's where they're going to get to mature a little bit, and they're going to cause some issues. I like my Michigan in that one. But Emily, let me throw one at you here.
Oh no.
This is going way into the weeds. I don't even have a line listed for it. North Dakota State is coming to Nashville to play Tennessee State. Okay.
Oof.
Now
Okay.
that's an in the weeds game, but Tennessee State just lost their head coach to Bowling Green and Eddie George. Do you know who replaced him? Practically the entire DC Defenders coaching squad.
Really?
So, yeah, pretty much everybody ended up at Tennessee State.
Okay.
So both teams are coming off of wins. North Dakota State took care of business last week. I think they were playing the Citadel. Tennessee State running back went for 174 and 2 touchdowns last week. So there's going to be some run game here. North Dakota State also kind of replacing some talent from last year. But again, it's North Dakota State. So this might be a much better game than a lot of people are recognizing. And there's some NFL draft prospects here. Bryce Lance. I think that's his name, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Trey Lance's younger brother.
Yeah, Trey Lance. Bryce Lance. That guy is a potential second, third round pick next year at wide receiver. He can freaking play. And he made some catches last year that were – I thought he would come out in the draft because of it. He was productive, but he came back for another year. Cole Payton's his quarterback, who is one of those maybe undrafted free agent tryout type players that can play up. But that might be a much better game than people are expecting it to be.
Interesting. I like the I'll tell you this right now. I like the color combo in the uniforms. I've always liked the Dakotas, both of their color combo, but I'm looking at Tennessee State, and it's going to be an interesting color scheme. Just
they're going to be a fun game. I think it might be a little bit closer than a lot of people are expecting it to be.
There's no line. So, okay, what do you think it's going to be?
You're a degenerate if you're betting on that game. What you are. Yeah.
Okay, noted.
What else is new?
One of the ones. There's a couple that I'm looking forward to. I'll give one power one and one G5 one.
Okay.
Going back to UTSA, Texas State, UTSA could be a fun game.
Yeah.
Both those teams are going to be solid this year. And then I'm very curious to see what happens with Arizona State, Mississippi State. And can Arizona State cover that?
Thank you. I brought that up in our show, and I was like, are we a little nervous given the fact that Mississippi State is not as bad as we thought they were going to be? You know,
what is it, 7.5 on the road Arizona State's given?
I think 6.
It's 6.5 is what for the show I do tomorrow. 6.5 is what we picked it at, and I lean Sun Devils. So, yeah,
it's just a little scary. It's a little scary.
Yeah. At 7.5, I don't know that I would pick them. Like that's
interesting.
Yeah.
So you think it might be a touchdown game?
It could be. Yeah, especially the way Mississippi State played last week. Not that that's indicative when you're just bullying a team, but
still they looked more put together than I thought they would.
Booth and Bothwell, I think they're going to try to run the ball, limit possessions.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing they're going to want is Levitt and Tyson to be having the ball all game. So
That's so funny. That's one I asked John about. I was like, I'm a little worried about that. I hope it works out. But okay, I have 2 games I want to ask you guys about because I was asking John about this in our other show, but I have to bring them up because I'm curious your perspective. West Virginia at Ohio. Do we think the Bobcats could beat West Virginia at home? West Virginia is only favored by 3.5.
Yeah.
At home.
Yes. No, it's in
Ohio.
Athens. It's in Athens.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at Ohio. West Virginia is favored going into it, but only by 3.5. And Ohio is coming off that loss to Rutgers. Very close game, loss to Rutgers. And they're led by an incredible quarterback who ranked very high. Navarro, I think it's
Parker Navarro.
Parker Navarro. So could they win that game, right? Yes.
Well, I mean, West Virginia showed very well last week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, Robert Morris, take it for what it is.
Nico looked good though. He didn't make mistakes.
Nico did look good. He absolutely did. I mean, he did everything that he was asked. 90% completion percentage. I don't know enough about the Ohio defense to really speak to it, and I'm just being completely transparent and honest.
Yeah.
I'll leave the deep dive of Ohio's defense to one of the other boys.
One of my recent shows for my show, I did have some Ohio guys on actually, and they're MAC guys, but they both did go to Ohio for PT or PA school, something like that. But they were a little surprised with the week 1 showing in a sense that I think they thought there would be a little more growing pains early on than there were.
Yeah.
But again, with the MAC, with Ohio, Toledo, Buffalo, Miami, you have the stable culture with those 4, and they rarely drop off, which obviously Brian Smith took over a good situation there. I can't bring myself to pick them straight up, but I would love to see it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say this about West Virginia. And as we get through the season, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But, in terms of a draft class and positional value, I think this year the linebacker class is going to be something that we, it's been a little lackluster the past couple of years. West Virginia's got a linebacker there that I've watched for a couple of years now. I really like him. I think he's got, early down NFL potential. Chase Wilson, bigger guy, 6'2". I think he's got like 2 or 3 years consecutive now where he's had 100+ tackles. He just is an old school kind of, nose in the dirt, early down, run stuff in linebacker. They're kind of letting him loose go this year. Already started the season with a sack. A guy that I've been watching and a guy that I will watch throughout this year. So I just wanted to, show some love for the West Virginia defense as well. That really usually flies under the radar here with Rich Rod.
Yeah, I think Ohio's got a legitimate shot at it. And
do you?
What I saw Parker Navarro do last week, was freaking downright impressive.
Very impressive.
And I think he reminded me a lot of like a Stetson Bennett type, maybe a little bit more athletic, but that same kind of gritty. He's a little bit smaller, but he's going to make plays and create things and manage the game just well enough. The defense has some pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing you have to understand with Rich Rodriguez coming back to West Virginia is this is going to be a run-centric football team. They're going to try to keep possession. And so if you're Parker Navarro and your offense, which that's how Ohio kind of likes to play too, is run first, incorporate the RPO and the different things like that. You're going to have to capitalize on every single situation that you get. And we just watched him do it against Rutgers. I have no doubt he's going to come out there and do it against West Virginia too.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm picking Ohio. I don't mess around too much like you guys do with the points and the lines. I don't really understand it. So I actually learn a lot from these conversations because I don't understand betting at all. And I get hit up all the time by my friends like, oh, what's going on? Like, who should we take? And parlay and points, and it's over my head. I only can pick things straight up when I get a feeling that a team might do well. So I think Ohio might be winning that game. The other one I want to ask you guys about, this is going to be out of left field, and I totally got John with this one, and it's like maybe like who cares? But Delaware goes into Colorado, okay, this weekend. I love Delaware. I love their quarterback. I think he's incredible. Obviously a tough game. Colorado favored by 24.5. That's too much, right?
Probably. It probably is. Yeah.
Don't you think?
You think Delaware's going to cover that at 24.5 in Colorado?
I don't know what cover means, but I don't think
No,
that
it means they're going to lose by less than 24.5.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose by that much. Correct.
Eesh.
My better nature would say they'll cover it, but one thing that scares me a lot about the cover there, Delaware's run game was almost non-existent. If you're throwing the ball and then go 3 and out and punting it and giving the ball back, that hurts your chances to cover a lot. And for how little they ran the ball, there is a scenario where that happens.
And Delaware's going to run more of a air raid system anyways, because that's what they've been running there for years. I mean, I really liked Nolan Henderson out of there a couple years ago when he played there. And that's how they've always done it. They'll throw 3 out of 4 times. So that is a good point that you bring up. If they can't complete those passes, yeah, they're not going to cover that.
And this might sound very sophomoric, but with their air raid and their up tempo game that they're going to play, how much does the elevation and the elements come into play too for a team going into Colorado?
Early in the year, that's a good point, Dom. Yeah. That
is a good point. I would just say, with all the issues Colorado sees, and where this lands on the schedule in between the game they just had, where there were a lot of mistakes and Salter was not perfect, and now we're getting Dion saying, "Oh, we're going to bring in the freshman quarterback," which I guess John said he said prior to this game too, but who really knows, right? And then his game management, his clock management was not great. And then you have a game, ahead of them against Houston on the road, which are notoriously not great on the road. So are they maybe not thinking about this one as much, whereas Delaware has literally nothing to lose? They have a huge stage. They're coming off a really good win. Is it a little bit of a recipe for maybe some surprise? That's all I was saying.
It'll be interesting. I mean,
maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. I think it's kind of like the stylistic, they don't, it's not a good matchup for a lot of teams. Definitely not a lot of good matchup for Colorado. Stylistically, when you get these teams that are going to throw the ball around, what it comes down to it is Colorado just going to have too much talent for the team like Delaware? For a smaller school getting there, they're going to get there.
And they had Delaware. Duplessis did good at receiver last week.
Yeah,
they threw it well. I wonder if McKinney can neutralize him to some extent, though. He's a good corner for Colorado. So
I'm more concerned about the trenches. They're gonna. I mean, they get the ball out real fast and real quick too. But any sort of pressure from the Colorado defense, can just throw the timing off of those. Those quick and those short passes, so on and so forth. I don't know. I find it hard to take Delaware plus the points. I'd probably, if I had to choose a side, I'd probably lay the wood here with Colorado and hope that they, the defense can turn the ball over and look for a 35-40 point win.
Fair enough. We'll see. It'll be interesting to come back next week and see.
Couple guys to keep an eye on, though, for Delaware. They've got a potentially high priority free agent guard in Fenton Bros, number 54.
Okay.
And they've got a guy to keep an eye on inside, and that's Keyshawn Hunter, defensive tackle number 55. I know they got a junior safety too. I think JT. Can't remember his last name. I gotta look it up now. I don't have it in front of me.
What are you talking about?
But they've got a safety that's back there too. But so there's Delaware. It's their first year in the FBS.
Right.
there's going to be, the growing pains that come with that, and just the level of competition just changing drastically.
Yeah.
But there are guys to keep an eye on from a draft standpoint. KTC, number 7. He was wearing 14 last year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
KTC is his name.
Well, that was kind of my screwball throw to you guys, because I think you got to make it interesting. Like you said, there's not a ton of marquee matchups like we had last week. But you have to find some joy in these games, because or else what are we doing, right?
I got an interesting one spread wise that I was looking at. And curious, John, Dom, Emily, what you guys would think.
Go ahead.
Kennesaw at Indiana, 36.5. Very big spread in that game.
Oh
my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
I might take the Owls to cover that based on how Indiana obviously won, but
it was not impressive.
We're not convincing against ODU, who is going to be better this year, but that's a massive number.
Well, Kennesaw just lost to Wake Forest 10-9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, again, not knowing much about Kennesaw's defense, they held the high flying, high power Wake Forest offense to 10 points. But the question is, can they? I guess really, it's not what Kennesaw's defense can do. It's can Indiana's offense kind of wake up. Mendoza did not look good. In the least, I don't think he looked and played very bad. He was one of the, I think one of you guys mentioned as we started off the show that the quarterbacks, there was a lot of bad quarterback play. He would fall directly into that mark for me. But yeah, with those lines though, I love to take these weeks where there's not those marquee matchups.
Yeah.
I love to take 3 of those big spreads.
Yeah.
And tease them 10 points even higher and really have some fun, So I'd probably find 2 other big spread games and take Kennesaw and make it 47.5 or something like that.
This is the first ever meeting between these 2 programs.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, which you don't get too many of those anymore. And this is just their second year in FBS. Yeah. But I got to say that Indiana, I don't know. Their red zone was rough. Execution-wise was rough.
And Kennesaw will have to score some to cover that.
Yeah.
And Dexter Williams was 12 of 33 throwing against Wake Forest. So I don't know.
So maybe not.
I'd still pick them to cover, largely based on Indiana, how they're going to script it. Especially if they get up, they're going to go run heavy and kill the clock.
Yeah.
I think it ends just under that number. So I would probably lean Kennesaw with this.
And I will say one more thing. I think there are some interesting games out west, the late games for me here in Jersey. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested. I'll stay up to watch UCLA play UNLV if they can show that. I think that's going to be.
That's not even that late. That's like an 8:00 kick.
Is it? Well, 8:00.
I'm a little surprised UCLA's favored in that game, by the way.
Yeah,
I was surprised too, because I was actually going to pose that question here and think which quarterback is going to do better, Nico Iamaleava or Anthony Calandria?
Calandria.
I think Calandria, by far. I think I'm fully out on Iamaleava at this point.
It's a weird narrative that they're putting out that UCLA played well against Utah or kept it close against Utah. I keep seeing that narrative, and it was like,
what?
No that's not what happened. I don't know. You can't rewrite history.
How it went. Yeah. One of the West Coast games I'm curious to see, and it was the spread that alerted me, what San Diego State at Wazoo, and San Diego State's 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting one.
It's going to be a
Washington
weird
State's performance against Idaho last week was abysmal.
Pretty bad.
The way they got out of that game, they came alive at the end of it, but it was absolutely miserable the first 55 minutes of it.
Yeah. Well, make sure you don't watch Stanford at BYU because 20 points is generous.
Yeah.
It is a generous.
Can they get under 3 touchdowns? That's a great question. I don't know.
You know what's funny about that game, though? I will say this about Stanford sometimes. Yes, do I think they're going to lose by that many? 100%, especially traveling with all the issues, whatever. But there's part of me that gives pause because sometimes Stanford does this weird thing where they'll look so bad like that, and then they'll come and win a game that they shouldn't. Now, not more recently, but historically. So it would be just my luck to be like, oh, they're going to lose by 3 touchdowns, and then they don't. So I'm going to stay out of it, but I don't think that's going to be.
I'm looking at their schedule. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
0-12 could happen.
Yeah, they might
There's
not.
a chance they don't win any games.
Who's Stanford we're talking now?
Yeah.
Well, it always comes back to Stanford for me. I can't get away from it. But my dad and I were going through their schedule, and Hawaii was a game they needed to win because they played BYU, Boston College, Virginia. Okay, great. San Jose State. I mean, that one, I guess you could. San Jose State, depending
That's
on
the bet. That's the odds. I mean, the odds would be that's the likely one.
And that's the Bill Walsh legacy game. So, anything can kind of happen in that game. Then they get SMU, but it's at SMU. I'd say I think SMU, I'm with you, Dom. SMU is always a pretender to me. So
Yeah.
if that was at Stanford, I'd be like, maybe, but it's at SMU. Then they have Florida State. Okay. Miami at Miami. Okay. Pitt, North Carolina, Cal, Notre Dame.
Oh, you might.
Cal and
get the
San
North
Jose are
Carolina
the 2 that you want. Yeah, like those are.
Maybe Boston College.
rivalry.
Maybe Boston College because Boston College is traveling, from
Maybe.
east to west. Maybe catch them
Maybe,
in the
but they
tire.
look pretty good this year.
I think
don't
you might get North Carolina too, with the way they played Monday night.
Good point.
But it's at
That was
North
awful.
Carolina. It's at North
Yeah.
Carolina. So
Can we talk about that for a hot second?
yeah.
And
please.
I want to, I want to pay flowers to TCU. That's fine. But somebody explained to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, how that the absolute, can kicking happened like that with all the hype and the hoopla around Bill. I don't know what happened. I don't know how many kids hit the portal from Carolina. I don't know if it's something that it's gonna take 2 years to build up, but I did not expect that. Home, primetime, Belichick, everyone and their mother who graduated from Chapel Hill was there. And it looks like they just didn't show up.
So the first thing
you go for it, John. I'll talk after.
The first point that I'm going to bring up is when Bill left the NFL, there's a reason he didn't get another job. And it wasn't necessarily because of the performance. It was more so because of the relationships and the bridges that he burned.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So when he came out and they released the depth chart and it's empty. I don't know if you all saw that.
Yeah.
They had an empty 2 deep.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
They filled
This
it in
is
with
bizarre.
characters' names from a show. The other team.
No, they didn't even do that on the media card. Like it was just
Oh no,
it
not
had
on the media card, but like the other team trolled him. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw that. So
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that one. Yeah.
He wouldn't put any information out
Yeah.
about anything before the game. The scouts there were kind of laughing and like, oh yeah, totally a build type thing. We're not even gonna release a 2 deep before the game kind of thing. And then the other thing here is he has garnered so much hype, and I think with the girlfriend and I think with everything going on, anybody who plays him this year is not going to take the foot off the pedal. And it's because those relationships in the NFL are not strictly limited to the NFL anymore. Football is now across all of these different things, you have relationships. I've got relationships in the NFL. I've got relationships in college. All those guys in college, they've got relationships in the NFL and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill has managed to make himself the villain, and any mistake that he makes at this point that him and his staff makes will be capitalized upon, and it will be pounded. And the first mistake he made last Monday night was starting Gio Lopez over Max Johnson. What are you doing? That's never. I'm watching him run RPO. When has Bill ever run an RPO.
Yeah.
Ever. It was a very unlike Bill performance, from the design of the offense to the play calling. And he's
That's
pissed
because
off
he's
everybody
not
in football.
calling the plays. Jordan is. Come on now. Come on now.
And I think my response to, how that happened would be everybody, the whole media hoopla, everything was Bill, Tar Heels.
Yeah.
What nobody focused on, the other guy was really good. TCU won 9 games last year.
Yeah.
Hoover's very good. McAllister's good. They got Barnes in. That defense is pretty nasty at a lot of positions. They're going to compete in the Big 12. And because it didn't fit the hoopla, everybody glossed over TCU going into this game, and they shouldn't have.
I'll point out, too, I thought Jordan Dwyer was the best receiver in that game.
Yeah,
Dwyer was freaking incredible. I mean, just sideline awareness. It was like I was sitting there and I'm watching it. I had some casuals sitting there with me, and I was kind of explaining the game a little bit as it's going on. And, I said, look, what was really Dwyer makes a catch right on the sideline, gets 2 feet down, falls out in the second quarter. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's he's, you got to explain the 2-foot rule. You got to get 1 foot in college, but you get 2 to show you can do it to the NFL. And then the very next play, boom, does it right again. I'm like, now he's just showing off at this point. He's just showing off. Like, I can work the sidelines all day. And then 2 plays later, he's tiptoeing 5 extra yards down the sideline. I'm like, yeah, okay, no, I'm all in. He has a touchdown where I think he goes through a guy to catch it. Like,
yeah,
nice.
I'm all in on Jordan Dwyer.
And Bud Clark, it was nice to see him. I feel like he's been in college for 18 years.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been scouting and watching him for at least 3 or 4 cycles now, waiting for him to come out. But it was nice to see him, make a play. Nice to see him score a touchdown. Nice to see him get some recognition. One of those guys that's just hanging on.
I must be the only person that feels bad for Bill Belichick. Then.
I'm pretty sure he was on TCU, John, when we did the first year of GE.
Well,
like after
yeah, he was.
Pretty sure
I was talking about him then.
Like, do you think he's
Yeah, I'm telling you, I mean it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Michigan's got a safety that I feel like I've been talking about for 3 or 4 cycles, and Bud Clark I've definitely been talking about for 3 or 4.
Oh yeah, he was on him in 2020 during the COVID year.
Yeah.
So that yes, that is driving.
I think that was I guess he wasn't draft eligible yet, but yeah. I remember talking about him when we were doing Gridiron Eve because I was like, yeah, this guy, he can freaking play. And he's had some injuries. Yeah. That's kind of slowed him down. But
yeah.
All right. Well, we are winding down a little bit. We're going to try and get to some questions. How do we go about this, John?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was looking.
Do we have any?
We got 228.
I'm not on YouTube.
We got 228 viewers on X or Twitter right now.
Boy, well,
But if no one, they can't ask the questions. I don't believe from the
YouTube
Twitter.
is where I would
correct.
I'll go on the YouTube and see if anybody's asked them. I can just read them off if they have.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy, if they're on YouTube, he can pop them. He can pull them up on the screen. So yeah, send in your questions. If you comment on X, you comment on YouTube, we can pull them up there and talk about them. But in the meantime, let me think here. I have so many freaking notes from this week. If that's surprising,
no shortage of notes.
LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I said it on the episode we dropped this morning. I thought that Garrett Nussmeier was the most impressive quarterback performance all week. Absolutely dicing it up, reading everything at the line of scrimmage, diagnosing, fixing things, got the ball out, incredibly poised, working from the pocket against 5-6 man rushes. He had no fear. He looks like everything that I thought he would look like this year and more. And I'm so excited to see what he does. Mansour Delaney.
Before you get off of that, while we're talking about Nuss, what did you guys think? The 3 of you, what did you think of his counterpart and his opponent in Cade Klubnik? Who I will say this, I coming into this year, Cade Klubnik was, up there as probably the quarterback that I had the most hope with, the one that I probably had rated highest coming into this year. John, I know you've been a Nuss guy for a while. I think he was outplayed by Nuss. In the broadcast, he looked really bad. The Clemson offense as a whole looked really bad. I think as I played it back and watched the game film, Cade wasn't as bad as it looked on the broadcast. But I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Well, I think he's toolsy, like that. He's a good athlete. Mm-hmm. He's got a really good arm. And we saw that. Now, when he has to get off platform, that's going to be a problem. He does not throw well through pressure. Like that interception he threw that Mansour Delane, who I was about to bring up, intercepted. I mean, he overthrew the guy by 5 yards. I mean, it was way over his head, and it was because he was moved off his spot. And you saw that consistently. Anytime they had him running outside the pocket and he had to run for his life, he wasn't getting that ball anywhere. So that right there concerns me a little bit. Mm-hmm. I've not been that high on Klubnik at all at any point in time. I've always kind of had him as that lower level day 3 type player because he's got some tools and stuff. But he's even when he's got a little bit of time to throw, it was the first quarter. That was about all the time he had to throw.
Yeah.
And the rest of the game, he's running for his life because LSU was dialing up those blitzes and sending them.
Yeah, they were putting pressure. I mean, like all over the place.
They were awesome. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
But even when he has time to throw, he's sometimes really erratic with his accuracy where he'll put a ball real far behind somebody. And not even just in this game, but if you go back and look at him last year, he's a box accurate passer. It's going to get there to where it's kind of in a catchable range, but it's going to be all over the place. You're throwing at a big box. It's not like you're not throwing at a dartboard. And that's kind of one of the issues that I have with him as a passer is just he's kind of all over the place when it comes to his placement. But that's the other thing I want to point out to and kind of applaud Nuss for is I don't believe Nuss took a sack in this game. And Clemson was dialing blitzes up at the same rate and the same ferocity that LSU was. And you never would have known it looking at those two play because he's up there at the line of scrimmage diagnosing this stuff immediately. So to me, that's another aspect of this that kind of goes under the radar with Klubnik. He wasn't picking up on anything LSU was throwing at him.
Yeah, and
Nuss was figuring it out immediately.
And to veer back to Nuss too, that defensive line from Clemson, has some players on there. You know what I mean? They have some big dogs. And LSU graduated 4 of their 5 starters last year. 4 of their 5 starters from the line last year are now in the NFL, right? Yeah. So you had a bunch of new guys. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the center stayed back. The center was held over. But you had a bunch of new guys. And man, that's not an easy task when you get Peter Woods and TJ Parker and the rest of the gang there from Clemson. Game 1, day 1
on the road
with LSU's issues playing, week 1 to begin with. So, big shout out to that LSU offensive line. Big shout out.
Yeah, John, you said for you Nussmeier was the guy that impressed you the most. Like for me, that was Dylan Raiola. He looked way better than he did last year. There was a lot of progress. He looked good against Cincinnati. I think he was 33-42, threw for over 200, a couple touchdowns. But he looked good in the pot. He made good decisions. He threw good balls. He didn't rush things. I was impressed.
I agree with you.
It's so hard to get past him with the Patrick Mahomes stuff. Like that's the one thing that's so hard to get. Because I mean, even like he throws that incomplete pass, he looks up at the clock and he's doing this thing like Mahomes does. Comes running out of the tunnel and he's doing the Mahomes celebration. Man, come on, get a personality, please. I was on the train last year where it was like, oh no, let him be a kid. But now it's like, hey man, this is your second year as a starter. Like, come on,
They beat a P4 team in the opener at a neutral site. I'll give him credit, and he played his ass off.
Was it a neutral site? Because it looked 90% Nebraska.
It was. Most of the fans were wearing red there, but it was an Arrowhead.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Listen, Taylor Swift was there, and she was rooting for Cincinnati, so they had against all odds with that, with that magic in the stadium. So, shout out to him.
Hey, can we actually say something nice about Taylor Swift, which is rare for me? She was at a unranked versus unranked matchup on a Thursday night. Oh, hey, they're the entire game. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just gotta say that's like that's like a woman of the people type shit. Okay, like
that's love.
I gotta say, I gotta give it to her. That's really impressive because that was an unranked versus unranked matchup.
It is
literally
impressive.
Like you're there on a Thursday night into the game the entire night. Like
I couldn't get my husband.
I'm kind of impressed.
I got my husband credentialed to a couple years ago to the Advocare Classic, Texas A&M, Arkansas. Right, big game. Big week 1, whatever, week 2 game.
Was that the one that the game that Cam Little kicked? He tried from like 50 and he missed it because it hit the top of the upright.
I have a video of it. I was in the end zone filming that when it hit the upright, and the sound was the loudest thing I've ever heard. But the point is, my husband's a Cowboys fan, is at the Cowboys Stadium. I get him a field pass, a credential, like he's photo pass. This man, God bless him, comes for the pregame, goes on the field, gets the meal, leaves before the game starts, goes over to the Ranger Stadium to watch a baseball game with his brother. I could not keep him there. So God bless Taylor Swift for staying for that game. I could not keep my husband at a top 25 matchup at Cowboy Stadium. So it's harder than it looks.
But yeah, so I gotta give Taylor Swift kudos there. I mean, that is truly fanatical behavior. So kudos to her on that.
Yes. Well, if we don't have any questions, I think we're almost to the end of it here.
Okay.
Unless there's a last hurrah. Anyone had someone that didn't get mentioned or somebody they want to give a shout out to?
I'm good. I think we covered everyone that that I really, really wanted to identify and pay respect to.
Well, one thing we didn't talk about is Arch Manning in Texas and all of that from the beginning. I wasn't going to bring it up. I was very wrong. I was wrong. Ohio State did well, but how did you feel about watching that, and how do you feel about the backlash and all that stuff that came out?
I personally, I think the grandiose expectations of Arch, who has 2 starts prior to the Ohio State game, was a little bit far-fetched. I'm also not going to jump way far to the opposite side and say he's a failure. I think it's week 1. He's not going to look like this in week 11. You know what I mean? It's just gonna, it's gonna take some time. I wish he didn't have it in the biggest, for his sake. I wish he didn't, play like that, in the biggest of scenarios. But he did. And you know what? If nothing more, he's gonna learn and get better from it. Tough situation.
Yeah.
Really, really good team in Ohio State. Really, really good defense. Arch didn't play his best game. I think we're going to see him play better. But I think the idea that, he was this, untouchable, crazy, can't miss blue chipper was a little too premature.
Yeah.
Right? We don't know what he is.
Did you catch a glimpse of Ryan Day's possible nipple piercing?
I did see that. Yeah,
come on.
I did see that.
Okay, so do we think that's what that was? It had to be.
Gosh,
it certainly looked exactly like one.
Yeah, Go
Yeah.
check some tape on this, John, because
Yeah.
it's
Okay, yeah, I'm
it's
totally
pretty
out of the loop
crazy.
on
I
this
mean,
one.
it makes you do a double take, and all the memes were great. I mean, look who had the best offseason. Obviously, just like new season, new Ryan Day, but very, very interesting development. If this is who we're dealing with in Ryan Day, whew, Ohio State by a million this year. Ohio State by a million to the moon.
I'll just say this about Arch.
Mhm.
We saw the lack of inexperience.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, on the biggest
You
stage,
played
on one of the
2A
biggest
Of
possible.
experience.
You played 2A Louisiana high school. Like
Mhm.
this is a totally different game at this point. So we saw the flashes of brilliance, the touchdown throw, the throw to the injuries, the tight end down the wheel route, the fourth quarter. I think there's one other throw that he had that was pretty nice. We saw the flashes. Okay, so we know that the talent's there, and now it's about cultivating it. I think it also spoke volumes to the fact that they held the play calling back as long as they did. Tells you that Sark knew he wasn't ready for it either.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a great point, John. Because I'm in a group chat with a bunch of a bunch of other college geeks and nerds, like all of us, and that's exactly what as Arch didn't look good. I said, well, you know what? I said that wasn't a Sarkisian offense. That wasn't a game plan that we've ever seen
No.
from Sark.
Yeah,
It was
no,
rough.
he wasn't, and that's why, because he was holding the playbook back. He was holding back the play calls, and it's because he really did not have the trust and confidence in Arch to start executing it yet. And somebody brought this back up to me on X during the game, where they were like, they brought a tweet up that I had from January while they were losing to Ohio State back in the playoff, and I was like, what is Texas seeing in practice that is keeping Arch Manning on that sideline over Quinn Ewers right now? And that's where we saw it. It's the inexperience.
Mhm.
He just hasn't seen that level of football played well yet. And I mean, even that comeback throw, I mean, he completes that 9 times out of 10 in Louisiana, football in 2A. But this is Ohio State. You're in the horseshoe.
Those Texas fans were very quick to cast off a guy that took him to 2 semifinals.
yeah.
This is true. Yeah, very true. So, the pressure's on, and I agree with you. I think week 12, he's going to be a totally different player. He's going to have that experience. He's going to have, the schedule that Texas has to play through. They're going to have some games where he can settle in. He can start to see it, start to feel it better. And throw out your mock drafts from last year or this past offseason. If you had Arch Manning up there going first overall, I mean, that terrible idea. He's not coming out this year either.
Terrible.
He's not there yet. So
Yeah.
but we'll see him improve.
There's a lot of football left to be played. He will
Correct.
figure it out. It'll be all
Ty
right.
Simpson going to figure it out. What's going to happen there?
I hope so. I think that's a very similar situation.
Yeah, I was high. I like Simpson too. He just didn't
because
have it.
where did
Tony
he
White
play?
had a
Where did
good-
he play high school? Martin in Tennessee.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I knew it was
3A.
Tennessee. I didn't know where.
Yeah, it's like 3A. All right, so
Okay.
that's like my neck of the woods. That's like I coached with a 3A school. Like that's my neck of the woods. Like most of those guys down there are not playing top ball either. And I mean, his brother is over there playing at Martin right now. Last year was his sophomore year. He threw like 40 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Probably be going to Alabama too. So, but no, like again, inexperience, didn't know what he was seeing. You saw the hesitation from the pocket. And then for whatever reason, he stopped running. Like he was scrambling a little bit, breaking contain. That was one thing that was a positive to see, where we saw the flashes. He could break contain and stay and keep plays alive. And he's got to know what he's looking at, and he's not quite there yet.
Well, there's always another week until there's not. But I think that should do it for this week's live show. John, you want to last
You want me to send this out?
Out? Yeah, always bring us in and take us out. I just have the in between.
Dom, you got anything? Who's?
You know what? This week I will, if for all those NFL heads, you can come, drink your sorrows with me on Monday night. We will be doing a Monday night post weekend Jets show. Always catch me on Jets Talk 24/7, where we'll probably be on the losing side of things.
Pat Fryermuth's in my daily lineup, by the way, this week. So.
I don't blame you.
Bets. Who's?
Listen, man. AVT got, he's out for the year. Another torn tricep today in
I saw that
practice.
I didn't see that.
The Jets are cursed. It's it is what it is. I was born into it.
When you guys are doing nothing on Friday this week, we have a pretty good G5P4 matchup. JMU goes to Louisville. Should be a fun one to watch.
Yes, Miller Moss is one of my favorite guys. So I was just talking about him last week, but a fun fact is he almost went to Stanford, met David Shaw, and turned right around and was like, I have never met a coach that seems to like football less than David Shaw. And then he committed to USC. So I'm happy that he's at Louisville. I think that's going to be fun. Him and Jeff Brom, I think that's a really good combination. It's going to be.
Brom's a very good coach.
Yeah.
I don't think he's long for the college game. He's a guy that I think can make the jump to the NFL and be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
right there.
good kid.
All right. So for Dom, for Who's, for Emily, it's been the Sick Podcast Live Draft Digest. Jimmy, let's go. Let's roll.
Take us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Draft Digest on YouTube, X, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.